Hello, friend. Welcome back. I am truly so grateful that you are joining me today. And can I be honest about something? I know if you are listening to this podcast, I know that you have put in some work. You've probably prayed, you've processed, you may have made some different decisions, and yet something in you might still feel stuck. Like maybe you're standing between two worlds, the one you're leaving behind and the one you're supposed to be stepping into, and you can't quite get your feet to move forward. So, friend, if that's you today, I want you to stay right here because what I'm going to share today might be the most important reframe that you've heard along the journey.
Do you ever find yourself Googling, how do I stop thinking about him? Or have you ever started your day determined to keep no contact, only to feel pulled right back into the same patterns and shame? Welcome to Intimacy After Infidelity. You're not crazy for feeling this way. I'm Christina Joy, and I've been exactly where you are. I know what it feels like to be overwhelmed by shame and wonder if dignity and peace are actually possible for you. I tried to fix myself by trying harder and committing to more self-control, but what I actually needed was healing from Jesus, who met me in the middle of it all. And that's what this podcast is here to help you do too. In this space, we heal the soul, heart, mind, and body, and we talk about the real things like longing, grief, shame, and confusion. So take a deep breath, friend. You are safe here.
Friend, before we jump into this idea today, I just want you to know I see you if you're feeling tired. At the time of this episode, it's now June. Summer is underway. Lots of things going on. Congratulations for surviving Maycember. We're just tired. And I know specifically that you may be tired of feeling like you should be further along. You may be tired of making decisions over and over again. You might be tired of white-knuckling your way through the triggers, through the seasons, through the moments when everything just feels heavy and you have to just survive. Here's what I know about you. You are not lazy. You're not weak. You're not broken. I know that you are a woman doing one of the hardest things a human being can do. You're trying to change the trajectory of your life while you're still in the middle of it. And doing that alone, friend, that is almost impossible to do. And that's exactly why Rooted in Joy exists. I've created this community of Christian women who are walking this journey out together through the hard weeks, the triggering weeks, the hopeful weeks, the weeks that we're celebrating, and the weeks that feel like complete regression. We do this work together with Jesus at the center and with tools that go deeper than just willpower and good intentions. So, dear sister, if you are ready to stop carrying this season alone, let's have a conversation. Find me on Instagram, send me a DM, find me in the free Facebook community, send me an email. All the links are in the show notes. And let's just talk about where you are in your season and what would be the next most encouraging step in your story. Okay, today let's talk about transition, changing of seasons, because honestly, I want to let you know something about me that happened recently, because I think it's going to set the stage for what we're going to talk about. Today, literally today, as the episode airs, was my second official day as full-time coach. Some of you knew that while still being mom to 4 young kids, I was also working at a school. I had a full-time job at their school, and it was amazing, and I loved it, and it was so good. And I felt led by the Lord to leave that school and go into coaching full-time here. This is my whole work now. And so I want to be honest with you. Even though this is something I chose wholeheartedly, I've prayed about it. I am so beyond excited for it. I knew that there would still be grief coming along with the excitement. There was grief for what I was letting go of. And there's this version of my life that is ending, a rhythm, a role, an identity. And so even when you're stepping into something better, letting go of what was still costs something. And I'm sharing this, number one, because you're my fam. I want to celebrate with you. But I also want you to know I'm in this with you. The idea of transition and seasons and changing, it's not just a topic that I teach, it's something that I live regularly. And what I've learned, both in my own healing and walking alongside hundreds of women, what I've learned is that most of us were never taught how to transition well. So today, I want to talk about three things. I want to give you a permission, I want to give you a truth, and then I want to give you a practical tool to help when you're in it. And I'm going to pull some of these things straight from scripture because I think God has more to say about transition than we remember. Okay, so first of all, you have permission. Grief is not a setback. I don't know the last time that you sat in the book of Ecclesiastes, but in Ecclesiastes 3, Solomon writes, "To everything there is a season. He has made everything beautiful in its time." Now I want to sit there for 1 second. Not the second part of that verse yet, but the first part. To everything there is a season. There is a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Solomon isn't writing this as a man who had it easy. He wrote Ecclesiastes after experiencing everything, joy and loss and wisdom and failure, the full weight of being human. And what he landed on was this: seasons are real, endings are real. Grief is a sign, not that something has gone wrong, but I think it's a sign that something mattered. Here's what I see in the affair recovery circle. A woman makes the decision. She cuts contact. She commits to healing. She takes the brave steps forward. And then she feels sad, like really sad. And sometimes she interprets that sadness as failure. Well, this is really hard. Maybe I don't actually want this. I must not be really healed. Maybe something is wrong with me. Sister, what if the sadness is just grief? What if it's not a red flag? What if it's just part of the change? You are allowed to grieve the season you're leaving, even when you know that leaving is the right thing to do. Feeling sad and grieving, it's not weakness, it's honesty. And honesty, as we talk about often in this podcast, honesty is kindness, and it's where healing can actually begin. Okay, so here's another truth for you. A new thing is already happening, but you have to be willing to see it. Isaiah 43 says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" I love these verses because God doesn't say, pretend the former things didn't happen. He's not saying, sweep it under the rug, ignore it. He says, don't let those things define what is. And then he asks a question that I think is worth asking today. Do you not perceive it? He's saying something new is already happening in your life. Can you see it? This is exciting. Because here's the thing, whether or not we're aware of the new thing has everything to do with where our attention is. And our attention is driven by our thoughts. So here's where I want to get practical with you. because I think this is a piece that changes everything. Most of us have been told, especially as we were growing up, that our feelings were the problem. Well, just don't feel that way. Well, just be happier. Just choose joy. Just move on. Just feel this. But that's not how it works. Your feelings are not the driver of your life. Your thoughts are. And specifically, the thoughts you're thinking about your current situation, those thoughts are either moving you forward or they're keeping you stuck. So here's what getting stuck in transition might look like. It's not always dramatic. It's not always obvious, but it might sound like, I just miss him so much. And you play that on repeat again and again and again and again. Or maybe you're saying, well, I don't know who I am without this or without him. What if this new thing isn't as good as what I had? Or maybe I should be further along by now. Why is this still so hard? Those thoughts feel like observations. They feel like truth, but they are creating feelings that drive you into actions or inactions, and they keep you exactly where you are, where you don't want to be. And here's an important question. Do you have enough awareness to notice when a thought is keeping you looking backwards instead of forward? Because you can't choose differently from a thought you haven't named yet, from a thought you're not even aware of. So one of my favorite tools is called the model, and it's so important, so powerful in seasons of transition. If you have a paper, I would love for you to write this down. Write these letters CTFAR. Beside the C, write circumstance. The T stands for thought. F stands for feeling. A stands for action or inaction. And then R stands for result. So the circumstance might be like the affair happened, or the season is changing, or here's how my life looks different today than it did. It's neutral. It's something you might read in a newspaper or hear about in a court of law. Like it's just a black and white fact. But the thought that you attach to the circumstance, that's where you have some agency or some sovereignty. That is where the new thing either gets perceived or gets missed. And we can definitely talk more about this in the DMs, but I love this model because it brings awareness to where I'm at. So just to finish that, what you think, what you feel in that thought line from your circumstance, it then produces a feeling. So what sensation do you notice in your body when you have that thought? So what's the feeling? And then when you're feeling that way, what action do you tend to take? Do you reach out to your affair partner? Do you have another form of addiction that you turn to? What is the action? And then if you continue in that action, what result would show up in your life? And I'll just tell you, friend, if you don't like it, you can change this model and you can create a result that you want. Okay, final step here. The decision that you might be avoiding making. Transition requires both time and commitment. I want to talk about Philippians 3 because Paul says something here that I think we need to call into our awareness. Paul says, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on. Okay, notice first the word straining. This is not passive. It's not effortless. Pressing forward in a season of transition takes real intentional energy. Paul isn't describing a feeling. He's describing a choice. He is doing this. He is working hard. Second, did you know that Paul wrote this book and these verses while he was sitting in prison. He was not writing from a place of everything being easy and having it figured out. He was writing from a really hard place, and he was choosing, again, to forget what is behind and strain towards what is ahead, and he was choosing to press on. That's exactly what courage looks like. It's not the absence of fear or grief or hard things. Courage is feeling those things, feeling the fear, and moving forward anyway. So there's some tension here because I think both sides are true, and I don't want to flatten either one of what we just talked about. On one hand, transition takes time. You cannot rush corrective experiences. You have to actually live the new season for it to become your new normal. There's no shortcut for the day you wake up and realize, oh, that old pool isn't as loud anymore. Honestly, friend, I wish that I could tell you the formula for making this all happen overnight, but it doesn't work like that. It comes through time and new experiences, through the ordinary moments that slowly, quietly begin to feel like yours. Now, on the other hand, transition and change require a decision, like in a moment. At some point, you have to stop second guessing and commit. You can't keep one foot in and one foot out and wonder why you feel so disoriented. Cutting contact wasn't just a one-time action. It was a declaration. I am choosing a different life. And so that declaration does happen in one moment, and then living it out happens again and again and again. You are choosing to live in accordance with that declaration in ordinary moments, in hard moments, but you keep at it until it becomes who you are. So I hope you can hear what I'm explaining. Both things are true. In this idea of change, I'm changing my life, I'm changing the trajectory, I'm changing a season. Some things take one decision in one moment. And then what happens on the back end of that is that it takes time, the corrective experiences, the working it out, living out your decision through the next season. So it does take time, and there has to be a solid decision first. So let me ask you, is there a decision that you are postponing? Is there a commitment that you're just not ready to say yet? Because that hesitation, and it's totally understandable, but that lack of the decision, that hesitation, might be the thing that's keeping you from perceiving the new thing that God's already doing. God has made everything beautiful in its own time, and we have to be willing to turn towards it. So, can I give you an invitation for something to do this week? I want you to just pay attention to your thoughts and the season that you're in. And you're not judging those thoughts. Just name them. Write them down if you can. And then ask yourself honestly, is this thought moving me forward, or is it keeping me looking back? You don't have to have everything figured out, friend. But can I encourage you to be willing to be radically honest? That is the first step. And if you're in a season of transition and you're feeling the weight of it all, if you're tired of navigating this alone and you are ready for community to help you shoulder those hard days and to celebrate with you when you have a win, I want to invite you to just have a conversation with me about the community I've created where we do the work together, not just the big breakthrough moments, but also the ordinary in-between moments too. Can I pray for you? Jesus, thank you that you are not surprised by our season. Thank you that you make things beautiful in your perfect time. God, would you give my dear friend permission to grieve what's ending and give her courage to choose what's ahead. Give her eyes to perceive the new thing that you're already doing. And God, as we walk into your abundant blessing, would you give us the joy and the peace to enjoy exactly where our feet are? We love you, Father. Amen.